Hello, hello, test, test, hello. Stream live. Let me check the settings of the live stream to see if everything's set up correctly. Control panel. Hello, hello. Okay, wait. Audio check. Test, test. Hello, hello. Okay, it's working. Hey guys, I'm back with another live stream. Third live stream on the channel right now. But this is something different today because I want to test a new format, and I want to see if this is cool, if someone is interested, or if this is a stupid idea. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if I'm even allowed to do this, or if I will get hardcore copyright striked here. But I want to react to trading videos, or especially today, I want to react to this Traders Roundtable on the Words of Wisdom channel. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do here. I want to watch the video together with you, and then I want to give my opinion on what the traders say. I watched the first like 10 minutes already, and I think it's a interesting video that I would like to watch anyways. So I decided I can also do it together with you. So we can have a little discussion if the statements that the traders make in the stream, if they are valid or if they are BS. And yeah, you can watch it live with me together in the stream, or later you can watch the recording. I have some insight in the trading industry, which probably makes it interesting for you also how I see this, because I know that many trading gurus just do not really trade and mostly sell broker affiliates or courses like I also do. So yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, I hope it's okay under the fair use policy, but we will see. Also, from time to time, we can have a look at my live trading here. And I still, of course, have the trades here. I mean, I don't really trade myself, but the server does, and the expert advisors trade. Also, there was someone was asking if I can react to MentFX. I don't know where this, yeah, never surrender. Keep strong here. I don't know where the comment is, probably in one of these streams here. I will react to this comment and then we'll start watching the video. Yeah, I don't know where MentFX is. Oh, it's another YouTuber, I guess. Okay, but never mind. Okay, so let's start with the video. Let me check if I set up everything correctly. I think I still have to add the audio. Let me check.
Straight into it. So we have Waka Acid from Titans of Tomorrow. We have Burnt Acid from Titans of Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I realized I have to record the audio from the screen, and then I think I hope that I don't have too much feedback from my microphone if the stream is talking, like the video. So let me set this up. Audio recording, computer. I have to set up my streaming software here. Sorry, I'm a little bit unprofessional. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Wait. Remove. I did this before. I just have to find audio. Okay, maybe it's this standard. Yes. Okay, let's try this. And let's test again.
It's cool, Pinsky. That's a different...
Okay. Okay, now it seems to work. Okay, so I can now, wait, let me.
Skorpinski. Yes, I got it. FT Mo's number 1 trader. We have 7.
Okay, last check.
FT Mo's number 1 trader. We have 7.
Okay, last check.
FT Mo's number 1 trader. We have 7.
Okay, last check. Yeah, I think it should be kind of all right. And yeah, I hope that there's no double audio. But yeah, let's try this. Oh, I can also mute my microphone, I think, if the computer is talking. Okay, let's try this.
Figure funded ICT trader, Mr. Kimmel Trading himself, and we have Mr. 6.7 million in funding, Mr. Andrew NFX. Thank you all for being here today, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. And
okay, so I have to say, I mean, right now there was just the presentation of the traders that are at this round table. I have to say, I know none of them like personally. I do not know. Pretty much, I don't know anything about this Waqar Asim, and I don't pretty much know anything about Andrew NFX. I know a bit about Bernd Skorpinski and Kimmel Trading because I listened to some interviews with them and podcasts already. So that's pretty much my my information that I have so far about the traders. Everything else is pretty much completely new to me also.
thank you for putting up with me during that intro as well. So it's an absolute pleasure. I'm going to throw it over to Waqar first, and as we always do, just start with like a very nice light question as to kick it off. But we have a nice mix at this table. We have a mix of the lower time frame trading, the higher time frame trading. We have a mix when it comes to personal funds, prop firm capital. So I'm sure we're going to have a good debate. But let's just start off with that sort of lower time frame, higher time frame sort of mindset. As someone who does use the lower time frames, how important do you think it is for a trader to understand and sort of navigate those lower time frames? Or do you feel like it's not as important?
Yeah, so first of all, I like the roundup we have here. I think everybody's qualified themselves, and no one needs to be like, is he real, is he not? Everyone's got their own credibility behind them, so I think it's just a good open discussion we can have. I was a proponent of higher time frame. For the first 3-4 years of my trading, I was actually more swing trading. And then when I delved into the lower time frame, it became higher time frame aligned, lower time frame entry, swing trading but with a high risk reward. Which we can jump into why I deviated away from it. But the analogy I give is watching a movie in 360p or watching a movie in 4K. I just feel like the lower time frame, the M1, gives me a level of clarity and detail that I need. And when I've traded with and without it, I've seen the difference. So for me, lower time frame became crucial to know a high time frame zone. Let's say a supply zone on a daily time frame. When price is arriving to it, I can start to see on the M1 time frame when it's respecting, when it's rejecting, when it's not respecting, and that can help me avoid losses or get a better entry as opposed to just entering on the zone itself. So it was in pursuit of.
Yeah, I also realized at this point it will be a very, very long session if I watch the whole video today. Yeah, so this question is about like how they see the time frames, and Waqar is saying that he moved to the lower time frame also. From my personal experience, lower time frames are very, very hard, because on the lower time frames, and I said this so often in all of my videos, on the lower time frames, you have a very huge impact, or very big impact of the overall trading costs, like commission, slippage, swap, and everything there is pretty much. So that's a huge factor on the lower time frame. So I personally definitely prefer the higher time frames also. And yeah, this is also what I saw when I back tested different strategies in the MetaTrader 5 tester. I definitely saw that it is way easier to generate stable profits on a little bit higher time frames. Like 1 minute for me, absolutely impossible to find any strategy actually that works. But also on the other hand, like the time frame is always a very, like for me, it does not really make sense to say like I trade only on 1 minute, I trade only on 1 hour. because the time frame itself, it does not really say a lot about the trades. Because if you trade, for example, on a 1 minute time frame, you theoretically could still have a very far distance for your TP and SL. But usually when we talk about lower time frames, we assume that we also talk about very small TPs and very small stop loss distances. And this is where I do not really see a good chance to actually be profitable in the long run.
Precision, and then when I found I can actually enter with a smaller stop loss on the 1 minute time frame, it meant I didn't need to hold the trade for as long. I didn't need to hold the trade for a week or 2 weeks or a month as I used to. Now it became I can hold the trade for a couple of days, and then I was like, okay, why not just for a day? And then I optimized for the session. So then it gave me a level of peace of mind and also increased profitability, because I didn't need to know where the rest of the day is going or the rest of the week or the month. I just need to know where the rest of the London session is going. And when you have a precise entry, session volatility, and optimize for a main push of a session, you don't have to be the best trader or even the best analyst. You just need to know how to manage risk well, manage profit well, and go with the momentum of the session. And that's kind of where I ended up. And utilizing M1 became crucial for me.
Yeah, but what did you think to that in terms of he's using it for clarity? It made more sense. It gave a bit of more information to the higher time frame. But are you someone who uses lower time frame at all?
Not at all, actually. Yeah, for me it's the opposite, right? We discussed this in your podcast. Yeah. Well, I'll give you an example, because right now I'm in one position since 3 weeks in the soybean long. We also talked about that, right? We talked about this, that I want to go long soybean. So basically I was waiting for that daily demand zone to hit. I just placed my order basically very much in advance. So maybe 2-3 days in advance, the daily demand zone hit, I was filled, and now I'm sitting in that trade for 3 weeks. I'm almost up, I think, 2 hours. But, you know, the time flexibility, I don't have to do anything, right? I'm in that trade, and it's going its way. So for me, it's just, I don't have to worry about anything. You know, once I'm filled, I call it set and forget and get alive, and that's it. You know, just, yeah.
How do you feel with the lower time frames when you look at it? Do you find it more chaotic and sort of?
Yeah, way more erratic, the movements, and because throughout the day, throughout the week, you have a lot of news announcements and stuff like this.
Yeah, that's actually a valid point, I would say. And what I also thought about a lot, that like in these very low time frames, and also what this Bernd is saying right now, especially during news events, you have a lot of spikes that are really just spikes during the news, and they will not change the overall direction of the trend. So if you do not trade in very low time frames, then you kind of lower the impact of news overall. But also, I mean, if you really trade like 1 minute time frame, then you probably do not trade during news events at all. Then you probably do not have any open positions. Also, Brian is saying in the chat that they look so cringe and fake, bro. Yeah, that's often the feeling that you have for if you watch some trading influencers in the internet. But to me, often when I watch them, I think they put so much effort in working on their looks and appearing professional that it is really something that I personally can work on, because my appearance is often very unprofessional, I assume. And yeah, so I have a huge potential in this field.
You're exposed to all the what I call noise in the market, and that's a problem, right? And this is causing a lot of also, I would say, when it comes to results, very, very not really consistent results, right? Because you're exposed to all the noise in the market. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem, right?
Definitely. And Kimbo, I know you use the lower time frames as well. So there's a good balance there. What do you think to that?
Yeah, I've gone from trading just the 1 hour at first to then I actually even went down to the 5 seconds. So I've used to trade the 5 second at once, which Bernd might be triggered by this, but
I actually like trading the 5 second chart or a tick chart is pretty much the last thing I would do. Especially because I know that all of these traders in this video, they trade manually. So if you trade manually on a second chart or even a minute chart, I mean, how can you not go crazy? Because there are so many candles, so many quick moves that you kind of have to become crazy if you trade this for a longer time period. Yeah. So let me read some of the Brian is saying my change with the thumbnails and the avatar looks better now. Yeah, actually the credits have to go to a friend of mine who talked to me and said actually that I look very unprofessional also on YouTube, and he suggested that I should change my thumbnails and have some kind of corporate design. So shout out to Johannes who really kicked my ass for this. But yeah, I'm trying to get better here. So Moon Traveler is saying I'm not kind of limited. Or can you tell us something about them? No, definitely true. My knowledge of trading strategies is definitely limited. I don't know a lot about depth of market because I only trade CFD and Forex. And of course, there you do not have the market volume. So it does not really make sense to have a look at the depth of market. And also, I don't know what time price opportunity is. I don't know what footprint charts are. But I mean, still, I am somehow trading profitably. So I ask myself, why should I know about this? Because I know very many people know about all of these terms that you just mentioned, and they just lose money in the market. So for me, it's not important to know all of these terms and to look professional. For me, it's important that I try to make some money in the market. And I mean, I can never talk for the future, but so far I'm doing pretty well, I would say.
Overall, like for me, I've understood that to me it's all about simplicity in the markets, and there is the possibility to have simplicity in the 1 minute, but then you would have to do exactly the same as what Wakar does, which is you have to limit yourself to a certain time period that you're trading. Because the problem with the 1 minute time frame is that beginners come into the market, and if they are able to see each candle forming 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, the possibility of them being disciplined to not taking any trades outside of their plan is really, really hard, especially because they wake up, they go to the charts, the 1 minute is still printing. Like you have like more than 1,400 candles every single day. So a beginner that is like completely confused in the market doesn't really know what to do. And so I'm a proponent of, when you're starting out, go at least to the 15-minute, 1 hour plus, because it's much less clutter. And I would guess that Wakar disagrees with the clutter side, but I think it's just about simplicity at first for traders, instead of just being completely thrown into open water and it's like, hey, here you go, like, be free. People need these limitations, and I think that the 1 hour, instead of seeing 1,400 candles on the 1 minute, you can see 24 candles. So you don't have to make 10 decisions per day, you have to make.
So yeah, I agree what Kimmel, I don't know if it's his first name, but I would just say Kimmel is saying here. Because if you, like, this is also what I realized in my own trading. I like it more to see the 1 hour chart, especially if I trade on higher time frames. I mean, actually, I don't really trade with time frames because most of my strategies are based on times during the day, but not really on the time frame or the candles that are like, for example, 1 hour, 4 hour, or 15 minutes. Most of my strategies are really just based on points, specific points in time throughout the day. But yeah, what he just said is that if there are, like in the 1 minute chart, for example, there are so many candles and so many things that you have to watch, it can become very overwhelming quickly. And for me also, it's much more chill to trade on, or to have trades that go for a longer period of time, and that have especially a stop loss that is bigger and a take profit that is bigger. Or actually, most of the time I do not use a take profit at all, because then there's just not so much happening. Like, have a look at this here. Like, all of my trades here are pretty much open in my two main accounts here, or the accounts that I show on the YouTube channel all the time. All of these trades are pretty much open from today in the morning. And there's not too much going on. Like, sometimes equity goes down a bit, sometimes equity goes up a bit. But it's not like I really make a huge, or it really makes a huge difference if I'm not in front of the PC for 1 hour or something. So I can easily go for a walk, go for a run, and if I come back, the trades are most likely at the same level, or I made some profits, some losses, but it's not like on the 1 minute chart, quick in, quick out, where you cannot really leave the computer, and where you also always have to be sitting in front of the PC, because you might miss something otherwise. So that's why I'm also a fan of going to the little bit higher time frames, or in general have trades that are open for a longer time period.
Maybe 2. So to me, it's all about reducing the amount of decisions that you have and increasing the output in that sense. And I would say that at least for the first 1 year, 2 years. Now, for me, then I did that for 3 years, maybe, all the way from 1 hour, 4 hour, sometimes 15 minutes was considered aggressive. Then I stick to the 1 hour for another year, and then I went to smart money. And that's where I started trading the 1 minute. That's where I started trading the seconds and everything. And I've noticed that with FX, I was that type of person that wasn't disciplined. And I was constantly looking at the charts, like, doesn't matter if it was London session, New York, Asia. Okay, I wouldn't trade Asia, but I would trade all of the sessions. So I was just glued at the charts. Now that I trade the 1 minute with futures, I actually only trade 2 hours out of the day. So I limit myself for 2 hours. And I think that's the consistent way of possibly doing it. And that's what I see that you do. And that's why I agree with it. But to me, for most people, it's like stick to the 15 minute, 1 hour. You'll be much better off than being on the 1 minute.
Interesting. Andrew, I think if I'm not mistaken, you like day trade as well, so more higher time frame.
So
also like what he just said, that is still crazy to me, that most of the traders that trade manually, they really sit in front of the PC many hours during the day. And this is so crazy, because if you have a strategy, and in my opinion, you should have a strategy that is as objective as possible, then it is kind of weird that you have to sit in front of the PC so many hours. And yeah, I mean, if you know my channel, my opinion is very clear here. It's stupid or not the best way to trade manually in the first place, because if you can automate it, why would you want to sit in front of the PC all the time? And if you cannot automate it, then it's a weird strategy, or you should at least be able to automate most of the important things, or most of the information that you need for your trading. So yeah. I also like the range breakout strategy a lot, as Brian's just saying in the chat. I mean, it's automated. I don't have to sit in front of the PC. I have, like, over the last years, it was profitable, which is great, and there's actually not a lot of stress. So yeah, great strategy for me.
I have a lot of experience with this because I've traded both ways. So most people don't know how I trade. But I started higher time frames, and then last year I went into lower time frames, same as Wakar, same as Kimwell, even to the 5 seconds, just because the way I trade is I understand every piece of information that the market gives us. So very similar, right? Go from the lower time frames, higher time frames, have that nice entry. And I've also mentored people both ways, so higher time frame, lower time frames. And I've noticed that the thing with lower time frames is, yes, you have a bigger risk reward, but you also have a very lower win rate. So while that is good in terms of, the stats on the paper, because you catch a 1 to 10 and then maybe you lose 3 trades, that's perfectly fine. But that's when the human emotion comes in, right? Because there's very few people who can actually trade that way, like take 4, 5, 6 losses and then keep the winning trade running until take profit.
And that, my friend, is why automated trading is great, because you don't have this struggle to enter the 6th trade after 5 losing trades, because the expert advisor is doing it for you. And the expert advisor is doing it without emotions. And that's the biggest benefit of automated trading. Also, Stickler is asking how I deal with MT5 updates. I usually try to make them on a weekend. And then, of course, I have to restart the MetaTrader, and the EAs should start automatically again. But yeah, I usually just try to schedule them on a weekend. I don't automate anything here. I mean, the updates are only once every 1 or 2 months, I think, and I just do it manually on the weekend.
your overall in profits. So even for me, that was a period when I was trading that was very, very profitable, but I wasn't trading prop firms during that time. So I was trading more personal capital, which is fine because you don't have issues with slippage and all of that. And then when I got into prop firms, I noticed that I just can't trade lower time frames, right? Because maybe you have 3 pip stop loss, 4 pip stop loss on Euro USD. You need to place maybe 50, 60, 70 lots. If you take a loss, it's not going to be 1%, it's going to be 1.5%. So that just, breaks everything. So that's when I figured out, and especially teaching people how to trade that way, there was no good results, right? Because the psychology aspect is very hard. Me as an experienced trader, yeah, I could do it. But for someone that doesn't have that much experience, maybe they've been trading for 1 year, it's just very hard to do.
Also, what he's just said is like trading with 1, 2, or 3 pips stop loss only. This is something that is so crazy to me, and I think this cannot be profitable in the long run. I mean, he said he manages to be profitable with this kind of trading, but in my opinion, it does not work because the trading costs are just too high. You always have the spread. You always have the commission that you pay. It doesn't matter if you trade Forex or futures. You always have this impact, and also the slippage will play a huge role if you place orders that have only 1 or 2 points or pips of stop loss.
So that's when I took a step back and went into prop firms, and that's when I started going on the higher time frame. So yeah, I watch 1 minute, 5 minutes to see what price is gonna do, but most of my entries comes from the higher time frames. It's just easier that way. Just enter, stick to the low risk reward but high win rate, and just it's ease of mind that way.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would actually challenge that almost nobody can do that. That what you just mentioned, that going through 4, 5, 6 losers in a row, and then taking the 7th trade or the 8th trade with the same confidence that you took the.
And here again, this is exactly what I said before. Actually, what he says is probably true for manual trading. Like it's such a huge mental impact. If you lose 5 trades in a row, you will take the 6th trade with a different mindset. Definitely. But again, if you use automated trading programs, the programs do not care. They don't give a damn if they lose 5 trades in a row. They will just do the 6th trade with the same strategy, the same setup as it would be the first trade. So this is why automated trading is so good.
The first trade, it's almost impossible, I would say, for us, right? I mean, I don't know how would you.
What do you think, Wakar?
Yeah, so with the comments of win rate being lower, I think naturally so, but it's not necessarily something we're victim to. I don't believe win rate is something that we get. It's something we choose. And I used to think that like a win rate is given to me until I realized now I can really control it. And if I put a gun to any one of your heads and said you have to get an 80% win rate, you'll do it. But you just wait for that great trade that maybe is once a month. And then if you wanted a really low win rate, take a counter trend, random trade. So we can always control our win rate. It's just.
Ooh, that's a very bold statement. So actually, I don't know how you want to control your win rate. The only thing to really control your win rate is to work on the risk-reward ratio. Like you can, of course, if you take a trade that has a stop loss of 100 points and take profit of 1 point, of course, you will have a high win rate. But if you have a trade that has a take profit of 10 points and a stop loss of 10 points, I don't think you can make sure that it has an 80% win rate, because that's just BS. But I don't know if this is what he meant.
What kind of setups you give yourself. And the way I just have split up my trading is I have all of my trade types. So I've given them names, and I know this trade type has this win rate. I've got the data for all of them, and then I have my associated entry models for it. I know my more probable entry models, I know my less probable entry models, and I know the entry models that I'm not going to take. So then then I've chosen for myself, I want my win rate to be 50%. 45 to 55 is where I like to keep it. And that can also seem like, well, why not go for an 80% win rate? If you can, why not do it? Well, the idea being that if I want to have an 80% win rate, which I can, I have to be more selective, so my trade frequency comes down. So I still value having a trade frequency. And it's something we discussed on our podcast, where your solution to trade frequency was trade more pairs, trade more asset classes.
Trade all asset classes.
For me, that felt like I'm going to be looking at too much stuff and a bit scattered. So I've now not gone to a lot of asset classes. I'm sticking to 2. So my trade frequency either comes from more asset classes or allowing yourself to have a lower win rate, as long as it's controlled. So I don't think trading the M1 time frame or lower time frame is conducive to a low win rate. I would argue if you do it correctly, you can have a higher win rate, but you got to choose to be lowering your win rate on purpose to have opportunities that you can give yourself, because day-to-day price action is not going to give you exactly what you need. The other thing you mentioned, Kimmel, which is sticking to a higher time frame is more sensible. I agree. The way I look at it is your higher time frame is like you're learning to ride a bike. You have your training wheels, and I think for everyone, you got to earn your lot size. You got to earn yourself to trade millions. You don't just go for it on your first month of trading, and you got to earn your lower time frame. Start off, if you can't read H1 correctly and get at least directional bias correct for the 1 hour time frame, there's no need to go on the M1 time frame, but you got to work your way down because it moves a lot faster. I don't think the word erratic. I'm not a fan of the word erratic, because erratic gives a feeling of like I can't understand it. It's random. I would argue there's so much precision in it, and it's just a case of showing and explaining. But there's so much detail in it that's not random to me. It's so precise, and I can understand why each thing is happening. I've done it on another podcast where I just did.
What we can say at this point already is that the Waka is really talking a lot, and actually I don't really get all of his points. Like, it would be interesting to know what he means with he can choose the win rate. I mean, the only thing that really impacts the win rate immediately is like the risk-reward ratio that you take for your trades. Like, how is the ratio of take profit to stop loss? That's, in my opinion, the only good way to really say you will have a close to 50% win rate or close to 80% win rate. Because if you, let's assume that you have a take profit which is as huge or as distant as the stop loss, then if it's like 1-to-1 risk reward, then I don't think anyone can assure a 80% win rate, because it's literally money printing in this case.
Did a trade breakdown, so I did from Monday to Friday, a full week. I did every single 1 minute time frame candle, all my wins and losses and all the trades I've given, but also explaining each move, because each major move of a session can be explained. It's going from liquidity pool to liquidity pool, and there's ways that price is going to maneuver. So being void of it for me is like I'm not looking at the detail, but the word erratic for me seems like we haven't understood it fully yet. And okay, you can trade away from it. I don't think it's needed, but then you have to have your counteracts to it. So the analogy I always give is the spinning the plates. Maybe you guys have heard me say it before, where traders try and focus on one plate and spin it loads and say, okay, I've got to get a very high risk reward and spin that plate so much, and they let the other plates come crashing. Whereas in the circus, the analogy is that you got to balance all the plates and make sure nothing falls. So we got to know what are our controllable variables, what are those plates that we can spin, and then build a system where we are spinning all of them and not just one. So win rate is part of it, risk reward is part of it, trade frequency is part of it, duration of a trade is part of it. So when you build a plan around that, and psychology is another one. So you've mentioned that if you have a very low win rate, you can have a low win rate by not understanding trading at all. Whether you're higher time frame or lower time frame, that's a low win rate trader. They just don't know what they're doing. But if you're a competent trader, whether you're trading higher time frame or lower time frame, you can still have a good win rate. You just got to choose where you put it. But then the psychology component, I would say, yes, if you take more losses on a lower time frame, you won't take more losses if you have 50% win rate on higher or lower, but your loss will come quicker, because you're going to find out very quickly when your losses are in the same 10 minutes, same 1 hour, you hit a loss or you hit TP. So can you stomach taking 5 losses in a week versus if you're trading a higher time frame, maybe it's 5 losses in a month. But then my also question to you is, let's say you're in a trade and you're 3% up, and then it comes back for a healthy retracement on a higher time frame. You're 3% up, comes back to like a 0.5% up, and that takes 2 weeks, that normal retracement. I would probably in that situation just exit or take an irrational decision based on the time factor of being in a...
Actually, this man is talking so much. It's very confusing to get all of the information out of this, what he's saying. Like, he's really jumping from one point to another. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, now he mentioned the points that I also talked about before, like hit rate is also very connected to like risk reward and stuff like that. This is what I think is always important to say. Like, if you have a 50% win rate, for example, you will most likely trade a risk-reward ratio of close to 1-to-1. And if you have a, let's say, 80% hit rate, you will most likely trade trades that have a closer TP than the stop losses, or you use some kind of aggressive trading stop or stuff to get this high win rate. Also, there are some more comments in the chat. Some people are pushing their accounts from 2K to 1 million. Congrats on that. A good achievement. But I've seen very few people, actually nobody, who ever did this with live money without a lot of luck. Then can anyone share with me the range breakout? EA, please don't, because I sell this program. None of the things they talked about so far actually works in real life trading. I don't know if nothing of this works in real life trading, because I mean you can definitely make money trading, but also I am not a huge fan of super small time frames or quick trades, and yeah, that's also what Get by Trades is asking here, and this is also what I agree with. Mostly here is what Bernd Skropinski said here, and because I know I also watched some other interviews with him, also some German interviews, and his view on trading in general is the view that I can support most out of. I mean, as I said, I don't know too much about the other guys, but what he says often makes a lot of sense to me, because he's trading on higher time frames. He's not trying to like get rich quick, and that's something that I can definitely support and that I always also say. And yeah, so out of these, what I heard so far, the like higher time frame trading approach is what I think is or can be the most consistent one in the long run. Yeah. All of them are scammers. Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I don't know them personally. I don't really know a lot about their trading, but it would be interesting if some of you has experience with one of these guys, maybe bought a coaching, maybe followed the signals or something. I don't know. Then let me know in the chat. Would be super interesting to hear more about this. Yeah.
A trade, or let's say it's hit my entry and I'm chilling in drawdown for a week, that would eat me up. I'd second guess myself. I'll jump out, I'll jump in again, all of these things. I like that my system gives me a very quick feedback of I enter trade within an hour, I've either hit my stop loss or TP1, and I like that instant feeling. And I don't want to be sitting on my hands for a week or 3 weeks as you have with soybeans, because I know I would be in indecision or question myself, and that's the psychology elements where it seems like higher time frame suits your psychology.
Actually, guys, at this point, we should not forget that I myself am a trader. So it's very interesting also to see that USD Japanese yen is very strong today, and also gold, which is so good for my trades here. Also here in this account, gold just triggered the trading stop loss of the Ninja Scalper strategy. So this will definitely be a profitable trade. And also the rest is doing very good. So the account, I mean, trades are not closed, but so far the account, just by looking at the equity, it made like 4% today, which is very good. But I mean, we saw this before on other days, and then the whole profits were gone at the end of the day. So I don't want to be too loud here about the trades, but I mean, it could theoretically be a good day for for my account. Also, this account is nice. I just requested the 25,000 euro payout. That's why the equity is so low, and today could be another good day. So guys, we're back in the trading game. So let's
more, and for me, the lower time frame suits my psychology more.
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best trade.
Whoa, easy. Let's not take a break. Let's not watch that. Let's skip this.
1,000 views in the description.
You get stopped out by 2 pips. You were, and then it goes your way. You were still right directionally, but you couldn't just manage the zone right, because this can happen, right? Because 2-3 pips is nothing in the market. That's what I mean, like with erratic random results, and this can always happen because you have very, very small zones, right? What, 5, 7 pips?
Yeah, so
you
the way,
said, like
the way I'm doing it is I'll take a M15 supply or demand in a very similar way that you do, align it with structure, and then I'm looking at the liquidity pools of the session and the day. So I know Asia range is a very strong liquidity pool. So if I can see London is opening, taking Asia liquidity in a key time window, London open is a very volatile moment, and then interacting with that supply zone on M15, structurally aligned, and I can see on a 1 minute time frame some form of rejection, which I've categorized. Then for me, having a 30 pip stop loss is not needed because I can give myself the breathing room, but my invalidation is not that high. It's the supply zone at the max or the lower time frame confirmation I've given myself. So the 3 to 10 pip I give myself, more 3 to 7 I give myself, is not from trying to chase a risk reward. It's simply my invalidation, and that happens to be there at a 3 to 7 pip stop loss. And the point of, I can get wicked out, which I think is then you've entered too early. So the way I'm usually entering is I'm waiting for somebody to get wicked out. So I've started to talk on my channel about you.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like talking like he's the sniper guy who hits the entries perfectly. But I would also more support what Bernd said, which is that like with a 3 or 5 or 6, 7 pip stop loss, that is not a lot. Like price can move quickly for a few pips. And like personally, I'm a huge fan of the random walk theory, which says that short-term market movement is often to a certain degree random. Like price can go up and down a bit. I don't see how you can predict it on very small moves. And I mean, Waka is pretending that he can do this with a certain level of accuracy, but I just think it's not really possible. Like, I don't know if he trades a very small risk-reward ratio, but having a high risk-reward ratio, like a distant TP and a stop loss of like 3 pips, I cannot imagine that he really has the 50% win rate that he claims to have, because that would be very good.
Smart money traps.
Also, whenever I say this, I mean, as I said, I don't know anything, and I'm always open to see proof of any of these traders that they're really having like the 50% win rate or the profitability that they claim to have. I'm not hating like per se. I'm just saying that I think it's, from my experience, it's unrealistic, but also it could be that I am just the problem and I'm just not good at trading. Could be. I mean, the possibility for this is very high because I don't think I'm I'm the best in the game.
Where these typical SMC zones where it's like equal highs build up and then you get a run of liquidity and then people look to enter on that smart money candle. I saw that used to play very, very consistently 7 years ago. It was very solid. Even on M15, even on M5, it was very solid. Now it's not. And I made a YouTube video where I gave like 30 examples from 1 month. And if you go through my Twitter as well, I just show example after example of that. So one of my...
Also, like 30 examples of anything is not a lot. Like if someone tells you he tested 30 situations of anything, this means literally nothing because the sample size of 30 is so small. It means absolutely nothing. Like I did so many backtests, I showed so many backtests on my channel also, and you will easily see that pretty much every strategy that I ever tested can have 30 days where it was profitable and 30 days where it was negative and 30 days where it was pretty much neutral. So 30 trades or 30 situations as a sample size is, in my opinion, it's not professional to say that because you tested 30 situations, it means that it is good or bad, or there's a high possibility or low possibility, because 30 trades means, or 30 situations, it means pretty much nothing.
my entry models is wait for that equal highs build up of smart money traders, wait for the run of liquidity, wait for the confirmation, wait for smart money traders to get in, and then wait for that to be wicked out. Once they are wicked out, then I'll get in. So I'm not just jumping in when the zone is ready. I'm jumping in when I see a manipulation. That's one of the things I'm looking for. So then it's unlikely I'll get wicked out because my strategy is built around those runs of liquidity. I call them inducements. So yeah, the losses I take is simply I got the direction wrong. It's very rarely I get stopped out by a pip or two. Yeah. That would be just, you need to build a better strategy to have a system to not be victim of that. But my losses are because I just didn't read the session right, or the devil's advocate, the ideas against me, which I took the trade knowing those are against me, those played out. And that's what a loss is.
Yeah, that's exactly how I trade, with waiting for liquidity to be swept. But instead of just going on the lower time frames like I used to, now I'd rather have that bigger stop loss and, just enter, have a trade copier, just copying the accounts in between and letting the trade run. Because obviously you're trading personal capital, I guess. So with prop firms, there's different rules, different everything. So I'd rather have that 1-to-1, 1-to-2, same entry, but bigger stop loss in case, maybe you take 2 or 3 entries in that specific time. That specific price action, I just take one and let it run. I find that easier.
You're still watching the 1 minute time frame, and you're seeing the confirmation. You're executing on that, but then you put your stop loss
exactly based on the higher time, like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 1 hour.
And then is that only because prop firms it's easier to do that, or was there other reasons?
Yeah, exactly. It's easier because trading a lot of capital, I only need to make 2-3% a month. So I'd rather just enter like that instead of maybe first entry gets stopped out. I have to wait for the another entry. Maybe that one gets stopped out, and then the third entry runs, and that's already 2% loss waiting for the last percent to run. So I'd rather just have the bigger stop loss, let price do whatever it does, and then the direction is always going to be right.
So let's say you take a trade. I've gathered your strategy a little bit. It's similar to what I do.
Yeah, it's very similar.
So let's say you've entered on a supply zone, on an M15 supply zone, which is pro trend, and then you've waited for the manipulation, and then you waited for M1 confirmation, a break of structure to be simple after manipulation. And you've taken entry based on that, and then you put your stop loss at the zone. So maybe 15 pips or whatever.
Exactly. I usually put it at the invalidation zone.
Of the supply, of the high time supply. So typically like 15 to 20 pips.
Yeah, something that's the average.
So let's say you've entered on an M1 perspective because you've seen the M1 break of structure and your stop loss is on the M15 zone. Yeah. Let's say now the break of structure happens, you're in profit for a little bit, and then it starts to reverse on you. And now that 1 minute time frame confirmation you saw was the reason you entered. Now that trade is gone because it's already broke structure bearish and then come bullish again. So then you're still in the trade hoping it's going to reverse now when it's invalid. The idea I had was invalid because the trade didn't
I get what you're saying. I have different.
There was just a trade closed in my FTMO project here that I stream live, which was the gold trade with the Ninja scalper, and it made around 500 euro of profit, I think. So now the overall performance of the Ninja scalper in gold is again a break even again. I mean, there's an 18 euro loss, but it's more or less break even. But still, the Ninja scalper is not performing that good. It's generated loss of 500 USD in US30 and 1,200 almost in US 100. So it's very much underperforming here. But yeah, as I said, this is not like something to get to panic now, because I mean, it happens that you see 2 or 3 bad trades in a row, even 4 or 5 maybe. It sucks, it's bad luck, but it happens, and it does not mean that the strategy cannot perform anymore in the future, and it's no need to panic at this point. Still, trading day today is very, very good, of course. In both accounts still. It looks very good. So yeah, let's go on here.
Validation.
Also I realized that I'm not really processing quickly in this video, and they are talking a lot. So maybe I will skip a topic at some point, because otherwise I will not really be able to watch a lot of this video.
Point. So if, let's say, like you said, 1 minute invalidates and it comes higher, then I'm gonna wait for the higher time frame, so the 15M zone to be invalidated. So for that, I'll need like a 5 minute close above or something, or structure to keep forming above, and that's when I usually cut my losses. But the way I enter is I have the higher time frame behind me. So even if I see that 1 minute, maybe that's a manipulation, maybe price comes up, wicks again, and then comes down, then I'm still in the trade and there's no issues. But yeah, I think it's a thing of always watching what the chart, what the price is doing. So not just entering and forgetting about it. So that's, I think, a combination.
Would you re-enter? Let's say you've taken a first entry, it went a little bit in profit and then started to come back higher into the supply zone. And then you see another M1 confirmation the next day. You're already in the trade from the previous day, a little bit in drawdown, and you see another confirmation. Would you now enter again?
Not really. The way I do it sometimes is I use, if I'm not very convinced, maybe we have, like you said, the small reaction and the 1 minute confirmation. Maybe I enter half position because I know that price may come a bit higher, and then enter the second half position, and then just let both runs, or even close, the second if there's the first position if there's a huge risk reward difference.
Do you find when because I've had all these ideas to myself, and the reason I haven't taken them is because I don't like adding too much decision making based on opinion to my trading. So this idea of, it could come higher, so let me enter half risk. What if it doesn't come higher? And then you took a win, but it was half of what you should have had. Or let's say you're saying, this trade looks more solid because it's...
Yeah, that's actually a point that I also have a very strong opinion on. Like, I am not at this point a friend of scale in or scale out, or opening half of a position first and the other half, or closing half of the position first then the other half, because I think there's like one scenario should always be better. Like, on average, you should always be better to either open at one point or another point, or close at one point or another point. And if you can figure out, like, statistically, what would be the better point to open the whole position or to close the whole position, then you should always choose this point. And if it means that you miss a trade, or that you, lose some trades, but on average you still make a higher profit, that is, in my opinion, the only thing that is important. So if you have like these partial entries or partial closes, in my opinion, it does not really make a lot of sense, because there's always one level that is statistically better, and then you should always go for the whole position opening or whole position closing at this level. But I mean, of course, you will have to figure out where this level is, and I use backtesting for this and strategy optimizations and stuff. But yeah, for manual trading, it's not that easy because you don't really have statistics.
It's higher up in the supply zone, so let me enter with full risk, and then it hits your stop loss. Then you're like, then.
Yeah, I also think that they really talk a lot, and it's crazy that, yeah, I don't know. Some of these guys are talking so much, or especially the Waka, and the rest is not really talking a lot. So it's a little bit one-sided here, which is not super cool, I think.
I didn't have to take that full loss compared to my other trade. Yeah. So whenever I've had these conversations with myself of modifying my strategy, of increase my stop loss, or let me modify my risk, or any of these kind of discretionary decisions, I've tested it, I've tried it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I just made a rule for myself. I don't want to have any of these things, because it always adds an element of emotion and not random, but like discretion. I don't like that in my trading. So I've kept myself very strict on rules, because I've just forecasted these situations of what if this happens, and then I was unfavorable because of my opinion, because it could have come higher, but it didn't. These kind of things. Yeah. What's your thoughts on adding that?
Well, I just have the high probability setups, and then the medium, maybe low probability setups. So when there's like a low probability setup, I want to do 0.5%, and then, because I know price is probably going to come higher in my zone, just add another 0.5%. But when I have a very good setup, high probability, I just enter full risk, which usually happens. Yeah, I think with...
what he just said is, what I never understand is, if people say, or if traders say that they have high probability setups and low probability setups, and they trade, for example, the low probability setup with a lower risk, what I don't understand is, like, why do they even trade it? Like, why not only trade the high probability setups? Because if you say that you can say if it's a high or low probability setup before it happens, then why even trade the low probability setup? I don't get this. Like, for me, why I trade so many different strategies, because I have no clue what will be the better setup in the future. So I just try to diversify. But these traders kind of claim to be able to say in advance if it's a high or low probability setup. I just don't get the point. Like, why even trade the low probability setup? It makes no sense to me. Literally, it makes no sense. And yeah. Yeah. Also, IC markets, I don't know in which country you live, which IC markets entity you chose, but I have a 1 to 500 leverage. But maybe you have an account with IC markets Europe, then you don't have the high leverage.
This type of trading depends on every trader to just find the sweet spot and then just use that to build a trading plan and stick to the rules, and then that's it.
Do you find any effect of you have your trading plan which you've built pre-prop firms and even in backtesting and however you've built it, and you have your data and information for them?
Actually, when a manual trader talks about backtesting, I always have a little laugh, because I think it's cute that they talk about backtesting, but most of these guys don't really do actual backtesting. They look at charts and they have a pen and paper and they analyze every situation on its own. And this is so weird to me, actually, because most of the time this is not really done on tick data. So it's even more unrealistic than the test that we get automated out of the MetaTrader 5, in my opinion. And it's so like time inefficient and weird to do it manually. But yeah, everyone has to do what he likes.
That, and then you've now modified things because of prop firms, because of having so many accounts and the complexities that come with it. Do you feel like modifying your strategy because of the situation of prop firms has affected your profitability in any way, or the way you'd want to move? For example, capping a trade at 1-to-1 because you only need 2%, but then you're leaving money on the table. These kind of things, has that had it? Or increasing your stop loss because of prop firms?
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best prop firm in the state, usually, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
A normal human being has a job, realistic for
Cute, and just by don't make more.
that. The description below. Now let's get back to the episode.
It made a difference in myself because I'm not that stressed anymore. So, when you have lower capital, you have to make more percent to maybe sustain your life. But with higher capital, then I can just tone down my trading opportunities and just catch 1 or 2 every month. And then 2% or 3% on $6 million in funding, that's good money to live just by trading, right? And I find it just better to trade less, have better opportunities, because I don't have that much emotion into trading. I just enter, execute. I know my win rate, I know my average risk reward, and then it's just easier on myself. But again, it depends on trader to trader.
I would say it's, in general, this is more realistic for the public, right? Because we are all full-time traders here, right? Who can sit in front of the screen literally 24/7. The normal human being has a job, has a family, has social obligation.
Actually, I would say that most of the people on this round table maybe they are full-time traders, but they are also full-time content creators and course sellers and broker affiliates like this. And this is also something that's very important and that you should never forget. Like, if they say they can be kind of chill when they take a trade, it's because they know that trading is not the only and most important income for them. I would make the statement that most of them, without knowing them personally, but with my insight that I have from from being a trading influencer myself, it's a lot easier. And I think most of them make way more money with products like courses, broker affiliations, and stuff like that than with actual trading. Or at least that's how it is for me. And that's why I am pretty chill with my trading profits and losses, because I know it does not really have a huge impact on my personal finances. And that's something you should not forget. Like, I cannot recommend to be a full-time trader and have this as your only source of income, because it puts just too much stress on you that is super unnecessary.
Has so many things going on. They cannot do what we can do.
Yeah.
Right? They need to find.
Yeah, and Yusuf is also telling us in the chat right now, most of them are scammers. And this is definitely true. Like, I also think you talk about FX LXG, and I also watched and observed his 200 or 20 euro to 1 million challenge. And I think it's a very big scam. And there are many videos on YouTube, you can watch it yourself, where they expose his scam. This would also be interesting for another reaction like that I can do here together with you. But it's so interesting, like, especially if you use the MetaTrader and unregulated products like CFD and Forex, like you can manipulate everything. Like whenever you see something, you should assume that it is manipulated in the first place, because it is so freaking easy to manipulate everything that is done in the media trader or in the CFD or Forex space in general, because it is an unregulated market. You can do whatever you want, and brokers can do whatever they want. And there are things like, I saw this in a YouTube video, there are things like historical MetaTrader servers, like where you can place trades in the history, in the past. So, I mean, this is not the story of this stream, but it is so crazy how easy it is to really fool the public and to make them believe that you actually made big bucks with trading.
Find a different way to trade usually, right?
It's true.
It's funny because one of the things that I noticed is that when I started live streaming me trading the 1 minute, people were like, "Oh, this looks like a full-time job."
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do this, and it's completely true, and that's one of the reasons why I'm also an advocate that if you're learning to trade, like the same, because I genuinely do believe that the way the market moves on the 1 minute is the same way that the market moves on the 1 hour, and so. Because the market is fractal at the end of the day. And so if you can apply everything on the 1 minute first and then possibly sustain your lifestyle in which you can, instead of working full time, you work part time, and now you can trade a little bit more, that's when you may do the adjustments to, okay, let me test out the lower time frame, because the higher time frame is always going to be more feasible, as you said, for 99% of people that are watching, unless they have come to some money or.
This is something where I definitely have a different opinion. I do not think that trades on the higher time frame are the same as on the lower time frames, because what these trading guru guys never talk about is the trading costs. And if you trade, let's say 1,000 trades in a year, or 2,000, or even 10,000, the trading costs, they will play a major role. And if you trade on a higher time frame, you will have less trading costs as if you will trade on a lower time frame. And yes, this has a huge impact and makes a very huge difference. So really, like I made so many backtests, and in the end, when I do backtests in the MetaTrader 5, I always see the combined commission, the total swaps that I pay, and these costs, they often eat up like half of the performance, or sometimes they eat up the whole performance. So the trading costs are one of the biggest factors for long-term trading success, and this is so crucial. And it's not sexy to talk about it, and it's something that you wanna you don't want to think about, but it is very important, and you have to think about. So you cannot just say like trading the 1 hour time frame is the same or similar to trading the 1 minute time frame, because it's a whole another game if you have a look at the trading costs.
Or they've been able to get a large amount of funding and then fund their lifestyle like that. I would say the lower time frame is exactly as you said. It's more more hard for anyone that is in a full-time job. Like I was working 2 jobs before I became a full-time trader, and during that time, I was caught, I think, 4 times on my phone in my full-time job, like in the same day, because I was waiting for the 15-minute to present
Way too much stress. Yeah.
Exactly. So when I was working full-time, I was trading the 1 hour mainly, because then I could check the charts like only for 10 seconds at the end of every hour and see, okay, the market is here, I don't want to execute, and then when I'm home, I'll do the full review. But trading the 1 minute would be impossible in a full-time job.
And this is what I was doing as well when I still had a full-time job back.
Yeah, this is very important also. Like my opinion on trading, besides a job, is that you should, I mean, of course, you can automate it. This is what I would say in every case. Like then you can trade even if you have a full-time job. And also if you have a full-time job, and it makes more money than trading, then just focus on this full-time job most of the time, because most people, they want to be like all-day trader, full-time trader, whatever this means. And for most people, it just doesn't make sense, because if you want to be a full-time trader, you need, it makes no sense to try to be a full-time trader if you don't have at least 6 figures to trade with. Because everything else is, even with like 100K, it's gambling if you want to live only off of trading profits. And it will not make you happy. It will make you so frustrated if you have a losing streak. Like you cannot mentally and emotionally stand the drawdowns if you trade with all of your money and if it is only like 100K. It makes no sense. Like if you have 100K or less, stay in your job. Or, I mean, do something, but do not focus only on trading because it is so high risk. And of course, we all know the stories of people who traded with not a lot of capital and that became rich. But there are many, many more people who traded with not a lot of capital and became very, very poor. And the problem is that in the internet and in social media, we only hear about the people that made it, but we never hear about the many more people that did not make it. Because the people that did not make it, they will not go out loudly on Instagram and on YouTube and say, I traded with 100K and I lost everything. But the people that started trading with 10K and made it to 500,000, they will shout out pretty loudly on Instagram and YouTube. But the percentage of people who fail is way higher than the percentage of people who make it. This is also like, you can see on all of the brokerage pages, like they publish the numbers, how many traders are actually profitable. And there are also studies that you can research that say that most of the traders are not profitable at all. And the numbers, they vary a lot. Like some brokers say 60% are not profitable. Some brokers even say 90% are not profitable. But I would assume that with short-term trading like Forex, CFD, the number is more like 90% than 60%, maybe even higher.
Back in the days, I was trading then also, I was day trading the US session. So Dubai time, this was basically, depending on daylight saving, 5:30 or 6:30 p.m. in the evening. So I was checking, so I was like basically leaving job at 6 p.m. The market opened 6:30. I was like, shit, I have to rush home, right? I need to be like on my screen once the market opens. And this has a huge impact. You're already stressed sitting in front of the screen and then you start to trade. This is a recipe for disaster in the long run, right?
Yeah.
You're coming stressed from work. You're like switching on PC. You're not have the mental clarity to do that kind of trading. And then it's like you're taking one loss. And then, you know, the spiral begins. Revenge trading, all this kind of stuff. We've all been there, right? And this is like how I think, as you said, 99% of the viewers, for them, this is how trading is.
And
right?
then let's say you have a family.
And then you have a family. Yeah.
Then like you work full time, then you go to trading where you're like 2 or 3 hours at the charts, and then you're pissed, and then you go for dinner, and then everything like crumbles. And this is.
And my wife is asking, why are you in a bad mood? Right? No, that's how it is. That's how it was when I still had a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're talking about like how trading also impacts your mood, your real life mood, and this is actually very important. And this is something you should never underestimate, like especially if you have a lot of skin in the game, like a lot of capital that you cannot afford to lose, then it will definitely impact your mental health and your mood throughout the day, and you should not risk this just because of trading. Also, let's maybe skip a bit in the video because I'm streaming for like 1 hour and I made it like 30 minutes into the video, which is not a good rate. So this would take like 5 hours to watch the whole video. So let me skip through the chapters here quickly to figure out what chapters are actually interesting. I think here we wait. Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Let's just see the chapters here. Find the right balance and quality over quantity, KPIs and trading strategies. I mean, would be interesting to know what they say in these chapters. The importance of fundamentals, the break of supply zones, of putting in the work, being transparent in education. This is interesting. Let's maybe watch this. This is interesting to me. The importance of being transparent in education, because I think it's very important in general to be transparent with like trading, because most people are not super transparent, I would say. They I mean, there are so many examples of trading gurus who only post like profitable trades or who are very selective with what they post at all. So let's have a look at what they say about this.
As well. And now I'm getting the real funds and having a verified MT5 MyFX book account, right? Like everything that I do these challenges even like on YouTube. I record every single day and people can see like how I pass these challenges and verification. So I do, me personally, I do everything to be transparent. And everything everyone who is an educator should do something similar, right?
Yeah.
That's what I firmly believe, because then otherwise this person should not be in the space.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like if you say you teach others how to trade, then you should go out there and prove it somehow with valid proof. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that I can teach you how to trade, but I do something like streaming live every day. And if all of these trading gurus, if all of these educators would do the same, it would make them a lot more like, it will give them a lot more credibility. But unfortunately, nobody is really doing this. And of course, he said like he's showing it in recorded videos. And I don't really know exactly what he's talking about, but it would be even better if you would really actually show the live trades, because then, you know, like from the beginning, like when the trade is opened, you can see it live. When the trade is closed, you can see it live. If there's modification, you can see it live. This is how I think it should be done. And if you can then see that a trading guru is consistently profitable over a long period of time, then it's also the best argument for them to sell their course, right? Because then, if they can really prove that they are profitable in a long period of time, then they can definitely also take a lot of money for their coding, not coding course, for their trading course. Then they have the credibility, the proof. But most of them, nobody really shows it. Like that's what I would love to see.
If somebody like even fake.
Yeah, and the Bernd, he has a MyFX book, and I also checked this MyFX book. So right now, I also think he provides a lot of proof, has, from my point of view, the best credibility. But still, as I said, I don't know him personally. I don't like to say too much about persons or people that I do not know personally, because I have seen so many bad examples in this trading industry, and people where I believe they are legit, and then afterwards I realize they are not. So it's really, really a tricky bubble that we are living in this trading world. So I don't know. I hope that at some point I will meet some of these guys in real life, and then maybe we can talk a bit about like what's actually going on, maybe exchange some proof of whatever. This would be interesting to me, but not sure if this is going to happen.
Statements, then this person will not be like talking anything regarding.
I don't think you can teach something without doing it, because as a part of the skill is the experience that you get. So how can you teach people how to trade if you not traded?
But that's where Kyle comes in and says that, for example, a football coach, he's a football coach, but he never was a professional football player. So I think that's kind of the comparison that he was making, that even though a football coach never had the experience of being a professional football player, he understands the mechanics enough or better than the players because he sees everything on a bigger picture, so to then be able to be a coach.
But he used to play football in his early years. But it's never like just came out and that's the point. Look, that's why.
Yeah, I think what the Kimmel said here does not really make too much sense to compare football to trading, because if a football coach is now a coach and not playing on the field, I think it's mainly because of his lack of physical fitness. But with trading, this comparison is not really good, because you don't need any physical fitness for trading. Like, if you know how to trade, you can also trade. Like, it's not like with football or with any sport where you know the tactics. It does not mean that you can also play the game, because it also needs physical fitness. But with trading, it's not like that. If you know how the game works, whatever this means. Like but if you let's assume that someone is a good trader and he knows how the game works, then he can also trade because there's no physical fitness required. So this comparison is, in my opinion, a little bit weak.
That's why the argument is so flawed. This football coach never only read books about football and said, oh, these concepts make sense. I have now 10 books about football. Let me coach football. He never had the real practical experience. All football coaches, whether it's like they played first league, second league, third league, it doesn't matter. They played football.
That's kind of what I said. Like, if a coach is a football coach, for example, he maybe played in the past and now he is not playing anymore because of the physical fitness. And as people get older, they cannot compete at a high level in sports. But it does not really transfer to trading, because if you are older, you can also trade. And if you are not able to trade anymore because of your mental problems, then you are also most likely not able to coach anyone in trading.
Ball kind of professionally. They was kind of a little bit successful. They knew how to kick the ball because they literally kicked the ball. They didn't only read how to kick the ball. I think that's argument.
And I can say that because I've been playing basketball professionally. So every coach that I met has played basketball at some point. Because otherwise you can't know how the game functions.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's a bit of both, where you have, obviously you need some real life experience to give yourself the right to teach others, but then the coach, the player that's like a world-class player and then suddenly becomes a coach will never be as good as a coach who's been doing it for 30 years. He's made a career of coaching. Meaning to say there's probably one thing being a good trader, another thing being a good trader and a good teacher. 100%. Because the ability to teach, I think there's two separate things, and I think not necessarily the best trader will be the best teacher. There's probably 100%. A thought in there. So I do think it's a minimum requirements, especially as now the space has evolved and more people have come in. Having something to show, some proof of anything that you are a trader that you say you are, whether that's because we know how much thing can be faked, whether the lifestyle can be faked, the lifestyle can be rented.
Everything can be faked in this trading industry, and everything is faked because it is so easy to scam money out of people if you can just create this image of being a super professional trader, because people just buy every shitty course or every whatever you set up if you just create the image of being a profitable super trader.
Manipulations of screenshots of the minus sign. Forgot to put the minus sign on a withdrawal. You can tweak anything, even on broker statements. You can tweak it. So I think it does get tricky, which is why the position I took on myself to qualify myself was, well, what you guys that are doing the prop firm certificates, that can't be, it's third party. So I think that's pretty much
depends.
Oh, it's also another topic for itself, right?
Okay, well, the QR code should reveal.
Enough calling out people for today.
More or less, the certificates are as credible as they can be. But there's
even then, just one thing. It depends also on the company. That's where I talked with Bernd, saying that like if you have a FTMO certificate, that's like the highest possible certificate that you can have. Why? Because like I've been offered fake live accounts and fake certificates. We're talking like payout certificates, and we even sent.
Okay, this is wild. This is something that I did not really know, that prop firms also offer fake payout certificates to their influencers to promote their prop firm. And you can see like this whole industry is so fucked up. It's crazy. Like it's such a shame. Like it's crazy.
That to a group, because it was like me and like 3 other traders that got all the same message saying, hey, you want to do a promotional video, we'll get you a live account and a certificate. And
okay, well, that changes my opinion. The point I was getting to.
What I say is that, for example, a broker statement is important. It's very important, but on what broker? It can be an unregulated broker that they will fake it for you, because I've been offered that too, or a regulated broker that if they fake it, like they're gone. Right? Like an FCA regulated broker, they're never going to fake a certificate. Then you have the prop firms where, okay, is it a new prop firm that needs the promotional material? Or is it a prop firm such as FTMO that they have way more to lose? And they don't care about a promotional material, so they will never give you a fake certificate.
My position with prop firms is
Yeah, this kind of makes sense. Like you should really watch like what the broker is, what the prop firm is, because yeah, as he said, like small brokers that do not have a long track record or a long time in the industry, they come and go like very quickly. And if there's a broker that's in the game for like many years and it's very big, has a lot of clients, then he really has a lot to lose. And also what, for example, let's take the example of this FX LXG. When he did his challenge where he traded from $20 to 1 million, or what he said he did, he never revealed his broker. He never said what the broker is, what the server is that he trades on. And the problem is, like, for example, you can just create your own broker. You can become an introducing broker or a white label broker under some other broker. And there are so many ways, and really these trading gurus, they will go the full distance to create a image that just fools you, and they know all the tricks. And I know some of these tricks because I heard of them, not because I use them myself, guys. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean it's very easy, and you can manipulate so many things, and it's way easier with a broker that does not have any reputation and reputation. I don't know. I cannot speak English, but yeah, just really, you should question all of the information that you see online because it's so easy to fake it.
people that are making money on it, brilliant, and it is a level of credibility, but this is not full, it's not complete, because if I was like an 18-year-old right now that wants to be a Forex guru, we already know the blueprint. You can go and rent a Lambo and post that, but then you could also add the prop firm element, which is, let's say I have just $10,000 saved up. I'm going to put all of that $10,000 into challenge accounts and just trade as aggressively as I can to, on a whim, get a 30k payout. It will happen. Like, just by trial and error, you'll eventually get it. And then you don't talk about the 10, 20k you spent on challenge, you just show the certificate. So that's
Yes, that's another point. Like, you can just buy 10 or 20 challenges. Also with FTMO, for example, there's no rule that is against this or that is making this impossible. Like, if you just pay for 20 FTMO challenges, let's say it's a 100k challenge, you just pay 10k, 10,000 euro or US dollar or whatever, and then you most likely pass at least one challenge. Or let's say out of 20, like, the chances that you pass like 2 or 3 challenges is very, very high. And then if you gamble a bit, you can also get it, let's say 5 or 10k payout. And if you then make a huge social media announcement like how you made 5 or 10k on FTMO, you will draw a lot of attention on your social media. And if you can just not talk about the fact that you bought 20 challenges, and nobody can investigate this. Nobody can really check this besides FTMO, but they will of course not reveal this about their clients. So it's a very it's very hard to really reveal what these people do and to actually catch scammers. It's not that easy if they are doing a good scam.
Certificate is indicative of profit, but it's not indicative of full profitability, because we all know that there is a level of, and it can be done right, by the way. For example, Pasquale, that we all know and I did a podcast with, he did 2.5 million in payouts, but he spent 6 figures on fees, challenge fees. So he had a 1 to 8 to risk reward, I think, on challenge fees versus payouts. But he could have also hidden that information, but he disclosed it, which is good for him. But that was something done right. I think that was fair enough. Yeah. But I'm sure there's others that have a 10k payout, but probably spent more in the challenge fees. So you were not a profitable trader, and you have the reset button, which we spoke about. So the approach I took was, if someone's always going to, and the internet is such that they're always going to question you, but what about this? But what about that? What about this? You show my FX with that, but that what broker? Then this. Show me your bank account. Oh, this is fake. It will never be enough.
Cash.
fake cash. But then
It is true.
the position I took was, for me, I did it for now 15 weeks. I haven't done it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I thought, let me just call the market live. No one can call bullshit on that. And some of my tweets, they're getting 100,000 views. And I told them, if I delete a tweet, tell me, screenshot it, post it. If you see edited anywhere, show that. So I think that was the only way I could prove myself without someone saying, oh, but you faked it. It was just entry and stop loss. Every trade I've taken for almost 4 months now. And then that's a symbol of my track record, let's say, which is calling them.
Yeah, that's good. If he really did this like for 4 months, post every single trade, this would be good if he did it before the trade actually happened. I don't know if anyone in the chat maybe checked this or followed Waka when he did this, but this would be actually a good proof, like over 4 months to show every single trade, and this would be very, very good. And this is what you have to do. Like if you go out there and say you are a trading guru, you can teach others how to trade, you have to provide some kind of proof, of course, because people want to know like that you actually know what you're talking about. Because, for example, have a look at me. I say in my programming course you can learn how to code, and I also show on my YouTube channel that I have some coding knowledge. So you know before you purchase my course that you will learn how to code. But with trading, it's very hard because many people do not really prove that they are able to trade, and then they sell a trading course, and yeah, that's a major problem.
The market. But yeah, I think all of us have done something to equivalent of showing we do this, and it's not just not just a social media hoax, but we're living proof of trading is possible, and then the ability to teach is another thing on top of that.
Definitely, I think that's definitely a good point to make. So, like, not every good trader is going to be a good teacher. I think teaching is a skill in itself, but I think there's definitely has to be some sort of skin in the game, especially because I think the reason why it doesn't maybe always fit the same analogy as like what was given in terms of football, for example, is because the psychology to do with trading is just on a whole different level. If someone's going through like a really bad losing streak, for example, and a trader, this teacher has never been through that before, never lost that amount of money, how are they going to advise? You know, how are they going to be able to say, oh, I've been there before, if they haven't? So I do get that, and I think there's like a balance there, but I think that everyone should definitely, you know, be able to showcase their skill set, show that they've done something, you know, have the accolades in whatever regard that may be. Yeah,
that's where I think that even, for example, if you're trading on a lower time frames and you have a mentorship, why not do it live sometimes, right? So it was funny because there's some people that are very, very, very open about how they trade, but their biggest trades are always off stream. Like they're never this like, oh, off stream I actually entered in this trade. It's like $80,000 trade, and then on stream you're making like $5,000, and it's like, or losing 10. It's like, okay, then can you do the 80 grand trade live? Like, I think that live trading in of itself, if depending on the way that you trade, like you wouldn't be live trading for 3 weeks.
Yeah, sometimes people ask me, why don't you trade live? Well, what shall I do? You know, just talk about the markets because I randomly execute trades. I set my limits and stuff. So it's different scenarios.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like you said, lower time frame for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and you see people, that's why I respect Don Vo, for example. I think he took recently like a 300K loss on a live stream, you know? And,
crazy,
you know, he just kept going. You know, he kept going. He owned the loss, kept going.
And that's why me, Kyle, and Paladin talk a lot about Gene. Like, he trades live with the group. Like he says where the market is going and puts like limit orders in, etc. He trades live. He does everything like everything quite transparent. I wouldn't say extremely transparent on Twitter, which is kind of the problem with even if you're transparent on inside of your own community. Like you can show the losses within the community, but do you show them on Twitter? Like there's so many ways to play with social media, which is.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they talk about live trading, and live trading is important, but I just realized, like, I'm streaming for such a long time now already, and this is maybe not the best video that I picked for this reaction kind of format. I mean, I just wanted to try this, but I realized that if I watch a video, I need the double amount of time to also react on it and stuff. So I will not, like, watch the whole video. Maybe I should end at this point, and we can talk a little bit about trading, and I will have a look at some of your comments. But Also, I just realized that I'm not really capable of processing more of what they say, and that's not really the idea of this. But yeah, it was interesting to see like different opinions that they have. Actually, I'm like, whenever I see trading gurus like this, I am so interested in learning if they are actually trading profitable for many years, because this is something that you never really find out if you do not know them personally, and if they do not show you actual statements live, like if you meet and they show it to you and maybe the brokerage login. But this is of course something that nobody really does, and also I'm not really connected in this trading industry. I'm more of an outsider. I don't know, because I also do different stuff than everyone else with my automated thing. But yeah, I don't know. I will just let's stop this watching the video here. Let's have a look at some live trading maybe. Also, let me open my server here. So I also want to check my FTMO accounts and everything, because trading is almost over in most of these markets. So there we go. So this is my my server where I do have like most of my accounts, as you know. And yeah, I wanna check like on my FTMO accounts, and this is very cool here. Like USD Japanese yen is really also making the profits in my FTMO accounts, because here I also trade the range breakout EA a lot, and this is looking quite fine here. Like in this 100k challenge account. Wait, I should move myself somewhere else, maybe up here. So in this 100k challenge, it also took the trade in USD Japanese yen, which a 1.5% profit right now. I hope that it does not reverse completely in the next 10 minutes, because then the trade will be closed in this account here, and it would be a very good trade actually, because the account, if we have a look at the equity today in the morning, it was still at 99,000, and now it's at above 100,000 again, which would be super cool, of course. This is my funded account. And then here out in this account, where I trade the fixed lot size, also made the trade, and yeah, it's looking, I mean, it's just a good trade in USD Japanese yen. Very, very, very strong trade. And I hope that it does not stop here now. Maybe you can go even further up, hopefully not down, in the next couple of minutes. This is not trading. And this is also interesting. Wait, was there another loss today already? 9th. Yes, what was this? Oh, it's a profit. Oh yeah, of course. It also took the Ninja Turtle Skyper trade in gold, because I also traded here. But I think overall the Ninja Turtle Skyper is still negative in this account. Oh no, it's break even now, because I did one trade in gold and one trade and another trade in gold. Yeah, so here it is break even with 2 trades. And also this is a little bit below the entry level. This is also a verification account now. And yeah, then my main account here, US Tech is really coming down, and also US 30, which is not very good for my FTMO account here, like the other account on my other server. But I won't complain. Like overall, the performance here is very good today. And it was very needed, because there was a huge drawdown. So yeah, I don't know. Let me read some of your comments. If you have something to say or to ask about my projects here, feel free to ask now. Like before, when I did like this reaction kind of thing, I did not really read too many of your comments. But yeah, if you wanna ask something about like the trading and stuff, feel free to ask me, and I will be glad to answer all of your questions. Did you withdraw 10k from your 50k project? No, I did not. Actually, I withdrew 25,000 euro. And I will also make a video about this once the money is in my bank account. Just to keep everything transparent and stuff. But yeah, I can also show you in the let me do it like this so it's a little bit easier to see. Like this is the count, and you can see here like the withdrawal here was 25,000 euro. So this is the withdrawal that I just did. Oh yeah, and it's also here now in the balance. So that's why the account balance is so low now. Yeah, because of this withdrawal. Unfortunately, the market is really coming down now a bit. It's not too good for most of my accounts. But yeah, we will see. How can I test this candle breakout strategy just for 50 minutes after the US market open? I tried this code. I don't know what candle breakout strategy you are talking about. I don't know. But you just have to code the strategy and then you can test it. Then also Bernd is consistent on the FTMO leaderboard, so I trust he's legit. I think he has the all-time record holder with FTMO, and I mean this is a great achievement, but also this does not necessarily mean that it's legit, because I don't want to hate him, as I said, I don't know him personally, but also the FTMO leaderboard, if you just buy a lot of challenges, and it's the law of big numbers. Like if you buy 100 challenges every month, the chances that you end up on the leaderboard is very high. And it might be a good investment if you can make a lot of trading course sales afterwards. So, I don't want to say he's not legit, but also FTMO leaderboard is not a 100% proof that you are super profitable with FTMO. What would be interesting is to see how many challenges he actually buys on average, because I'm pretty sure he's not buying just 1 or 2 challenges every month. But I would love to see some numbers here, really. I would definitely love to see numbers. What's your... Oh, wait. Whoa, there are so many comments now. Support and resistance. I don't know this comment from Kids Gaming. I don't understand it. Reversed insanity. What's your FTMO withdrawal target once you pass the challenge? I don't have a target. Obviously, I want to make as much money as possible, but also I think there's a high chance that FTMO will just ban me because I am showing the trading live right now, and I also use programs that are strategies that others use, so they could ban me. But of course, I'm not stupid. Not completely stupid. And if I get to the funded stage, I do not show my trading. So this is my funded account, and I do not show my trading, and I do not use the original range breakout strategy. I use a modified version, and I will not make it public because I don't want them to ban me. But yeah, my goal is just to make as much money as possible. And this, I think, what is always the goal if we trade. And yeah, that's pretty much... Yeah, that's how it is. So, why is this market now reversing? This is not perfect for me. Could be better here. Let me also get the other account on the screen here. There we go. Then I will read more of your comments, of course. So this is my FTMO account from the other live stream that I currently stream permanently on YouTube. And there is a good profit in this account, but right now it is coming back a bit, which is not so cool, because it would be nice to have some more profits. Especially because I have 2 open buy positions in US 30 and 1 open sell position. So it would be good if US 30 goes up. But yeah, we will see. This is not make a wish. This is trading, and we cannot really wish for results here. We'll just have to take the prices that we get pretty much in the markets. Have you tried coding equal highs and lows? No, not really, actually. René, do you trust data quality from Quant Data Manager? The data is not really coming from the Quant Data Manager. They just also get the data from Dukascopy. But from my experience, the data feed is actually kind of good. And if you do not trade high frequency, quick in, quick out strategies, the data quality is, it's not bad. Like I did a lot of comparisons of backtesting results to live trading results, and the results were often similar when I used the Dukascopy data. But of course, the test is still no prediction for anything. Candle breakout strategy you described in one of your videos, just entry after the candle break, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I did so many videos on different strategies. I mean, if you wanna know how the strategy works out in the test or in the live account, just follow my coding tutorial, and then you can use it on your own, like for yourself. No, you can see he has maximum allocation of 400k. I think you are still talking about Bernd Skropinski. Yeah, but I don't really get the point. Like, of course he can have the maximum allocation, but he can still, like if he has 400k max allocation, but he used 20 FTMO challenges to get there, it does not really mean a lot, I think. But yeah, I mean, not saying he's not profitable, but you always have to like see the whole picture and think about all of the possibilities. Can you say a few words on how to start with FTMO funded accounts? What is cost, and can you pass the challenge, get rewards? I think I'm not an expert on this because so far I paid a lot more to FTMO than I got from them. So I'm not. I would not say I'm an expert in prop firm or FTMO trading. My average return is negative so far. But yeah, if you're interested, really just have a look at their webpage, and they describe everything very beautifully, and it's very good to read. Like you can see the costs for all of the challenges. For example, for a 100k challenge, you pay like around $500, and then you have to pass the first phase and the second phase, like make 10% on one account, then on another account make 5%, and then you get to the funded stage, and then you can get some percentage of the profits you make. And that's basically the model, how it works. Also, I did a lot of videos about this already. You can watch it on my channel, or you can just read it on the FTMO webpage. René, do you trust data quality? Oh, I answered this already. You can see it on balance. Well, on balance, volume, support, and resistance. Yeah, I don't know. There are so many comments in the chat that I cannot really understand. I don't know if it's me or the comments. And then there's a comment in, I don't know, it's this Spanish, but yeah, I don't understand. What is the average return of your bots, or just a ballpark so I can understand what's possible? I don't know if this is the best benchmark to see what is possible, but I can of course show you the results of my trading account here. Like this is, for example, the analysis for this trading account that you see on the screen right now. And I also show this always in the monthly review videos that I make. You can also watch it. But here I made, you can actually see all of the key figures here. I know, I made 1,000 trades and the profit is 27,000. And this was over around 8 months. But you can definitely make more. You can also make less. It varies a lot. It depends on the market period a lot. Isn't it allowed to use EAs on FTMO? Yes, it is allowed. But they say like it's not okay if many people use the same strategy. And this rule is very intransparent, and you cannot really understand what they mean if they say this. So just to be sure, I modify all of my strategies in the funded account, so I do not use the public strategies that I also sell, just to not give them a reason to ban me. Are you still looking for other strategies to try and then use it in live account? Yeah, of course, I constantly do this. That's pretty much part of my job. I have already coded. I want to do the time the breakout strategy for first 15 minutes after US market. How can I time the backtest? You have to modify the code. Like I cannot really give you exact coding advice here in this stream because It's not the best format for this, but you can just check the time of your broker in the account, in the program, like using the time current function, and then just compare it to time. You can also have a look at the MQL date time structure, and also maybe at the iTime function. Like these are some functions that you can Google to learn more about like times and how to code it. Based on data, what do you think of the ICT strategy? Is it profitable? I have no idea. Like when I coded a strategy, an expert advisor where I tried to replicate the silver bullet ICT strategy, it was not super consistent, but also I'm not an expert on ICT. I think ICT, like the person is a big scammer and a big marketer, but his concepts, or like SMC, ICT concepts, whatever, I am not an expert. Is IC Markets a book broker? Do they transfer trades? I don't think so. I think every CFD and Forex broker is pretty much B-book, because it makes no sense for them to be A-book, because most people lose their money. I think sometimes the brokers hedge positions, like large positions, not individually for every trader, but on average, I think all of them pretty much are B-book, because it just makes sense. Just like prop firms. Most people lose their money anyways. Oh my god, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to learn about MQL5 programming, check out some tutorials on my channel. Why don't you use the range breakout on CAD and Australian dollar? I never found good settings in the tester. I don't know, I did a lot of testing here and there, but yeah. Oh, also the trades are closed. Like here, the trade in USD Japanese yen was just closed with a profit of 300, which is good. Yeah. So that's the first trade in this account to be closed. Then we can also check like the other accounts again, because at 18 o'clock server time, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, here, for example, now we start trading in my stock trading account. Apple made a trade already, by position, of course. And then also here we saw all of these trades are closed. Yeah, the profit is nice, like 160, like 1.65% here in this account, which is great. This is the fixed lot size verification account. And then here also nice profit, 0.5% risk on every trade, and a total profit of around 1.5% on the account, which is great. Yeah, very good. Like so far, like my FTMO projects are looking very good. Like this one is profitable. This one is profitable. Both are verification accounts. This one is another verification account, also in profit right now. This is also a verification account, which is around break even. But yeah, all of them are doing very good. And this one is a funded account, which is also profitable right now. So FTMO projects so far or right now at the moment are doing very good. And yeah, I'm very, very happy about this. But still, I hope that the indices can recover, because I'm very highly invested in the indices right now. But yeah, we will see. I think I will end the stream soon, because I did a lot of talking. And yeah, I don't know. Thanks for being here, guys. I mean, this was the first time I tried some kind of live reaction to a video. I think I did not choose the best video. The format is kind of nice, but I think if I do this ever again, I should choose videos that are like 10 or 15 minutes long, so I can make an actual reaction and also talk about it, and not make it a 5-hour streaming marathon. But yeah, just wanted to say hi to some of you guys, and I'm glad that some of you guys joined. Also, you got a little update on my current projects, also the FTMO stuff. And yeah, that's it. I will end the stream. Let me answer the last questions here. It used to be 12 charts. Why it is now 6? It is still 12 charts, but you can see 6 charts are minimized, because I don't want to make it unreadable in the stream. I still trade all of these 12 charts. Then does the range breakout or range breakout percent work better for you? I don't know. I did not make the actual comparison. I think in some markets, like in gold, range breakout percent is doing very good, But in the currencies, I think the range breakout with a factor is doing better. This is just from my feeling. I don't have the exact numbers. Yeah. So guys, that's it. Also, if you want to talk about system development and stuff and want to share your settings or talk about settings with others, you can join my community here. There's a free trial also. Make sure to use it if you're interested to work with others. And that's pretty much it. I am ending the stream now. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. Thanks for all of your questions and comments. It's always highly appreciated. And yeah, I hope that you also had some fun chatting with me. That's it, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a nice morning, evening, wherever you live in the world. And I will see you next time. Have a good time. Bye.